start with Manasseh. Manasseh, what are the issues embedded in this piece that we first played yesterday?
Well, there are three major issues. The first one has to do with the claim that we have saved 2.75 billion cedis since 2017 as a result of work that has been done by the Public Procurement Authority. I have had my doubts about those figures, and depending on how it is interpreted, because I asked ABAJ that couldn't we look at it this way, that government officials wanted to swindle government and you stopped them. They said no, so he wouldn't look at it that way. But even the figures, how are we able to ascertain that those figures they are throwing out there are true? So what I did was to ask if I could get a list of the contracts, sole sourced contracts and also restrictive tendering contracts, from which these savings were made. So that's just a matter of tabulation. In contract A, we saved 10 cedis. In contract B, we saved 5 cedis. So that at the end of the day, I can also satisfy myself that, look, what they are saying is true and not false. He said, well, that was available, and then I could get the information. After the interview, I wrote officially back to the PPA, and the board surprisingly said it could not give me that information because it's confidential. And that is so absurd, because those contracts are published on the website of the PPA. Single sourced procurement and then restricted tendering. After the award of the contract, they are supposed to be published on the website of the PPA. And even if you go to the website of the PPA, we have contracts there of that nature. The amount, the company that won it, the ministry or the awarding agency. So if you are mandated to put something out there, you already have it out there. But now I need specific ones to either prove that your claim is true or not. You say it's confidential, so that is absurd. That is one issue. So as I sit here, it will be very difficult for anybody to convince me that the figures being bundled about that is how much we saved as a result of due diligence on procurement. For me, it is false.
Okay, so Manasseh, hang on. Your mission really had to do with the statement that was issued in April this year that said that the Public Procurement Authority had saved the country a total of 1.9 billion Ghana cedis between April 2017 and December 2018 as a result of the adherence to due diligence in public procurement. And that attributed to the Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Mr. A.B. Ajay. That's what set you out on this mission.
Well, it was part of it, but I also had a hint that something sinister was happening behind the scenes. So the contract, the savings was part of the mission. But what drove this investigation was the allegation that somebody somewhere was selling government contracts. So that brings us to the second point about the sales of the contracts, which we were able to establish, and the company has only responded saying that whoever was doing the selling did not have the permission of the CEO to do that. And we also know this was not just a cleaner or a low-level professional or officer in the company. We're talking about the general manager of Talent Discovery Limited. If you look at the contract they signed, his name is on the contract. So he actually negotiated, he signed in favor or on behalf of the company. So he's a highly regarded person in the company. So we went through the process, and there is...
So you wanted to buy a contract that they had secured from the states?
The state, because that's what they were doing. And for investigations of this nature, if we came out to just say, well, they're selling contracts, so maybe the guy was just bragging on whatever. So we needed documentary evidence. So he wouldn't give us anything until we paid. The first one had to do with the registration. And then there's 5,000 cedis if you register.
As what? Register with them so that you would get the contracts?
No, you do business with them. So they have a form they call contractors registration form. This one goes for 5,000 cedis.
Just the form?
The form to register, to be on their database. Because when you go to the Public Procurement Authority, they have a database where companies bid for government contracts. Those companies are kept. They have a database. And if you go to Talent Discovery Limited, today are creating their own database. That they have links that can secure them government contracts. And so on the basis of that, they give this form you fill. It's a 6-page document.
Okay. So you bought this form, you filled, and then... We
didn't even fill, because filling this form would give our company details. We just went with a fake name, K-Drah Enterprise. So that's where the problem is. When they're even selling to you, they don't take the time to be able to ascertain whether you have the capacity to deliver.
They don't care who you are.
Yes.
They're just interested in the money.
So I, Manasseh Azure Awuni, was supposed to control or handle the Wulensi Chamba Road.
How much is involved?
22 million cedis, and then they are taking 15% of the contract sum. So that is around 3.3 million cedis. They claim those monies are used to sort their links or connections at the ministries. They pay them, and this is bribe.
Do you know how much they got the original contracts for?
Yes, the original contract sum is 22.3 million cedis.
Okay.
They say it's awarded to their sister company. So this one, it was going for 15%, but the other contract, they were selling them at 18% of the contract sum. So you buy, pay them, and then go and execute. So that's the second.
So how do you get paid?
Well, everything will still be through them. And when we asked how to deal with the consultants and others who will be doing the inspection, so don't worry, we will handle the consultants. So everything will still be in their name, but they would do a memorandum of understanding or a contract of a sort between you and them. So we even requested they send us a draft, and he fell for our bid and actually sent one through the email. And the email address he used is the same email address on his complimentary card. So that happens. And so in the name or on record, they are doing the work. But somebody
in reality you have the
contract to execute. So that's the second part. And the third angle to this investigation also has to do with the issue of conflict of interest. Because you have the CEO of the Public Procurement Authority. Almost all of these contracts were single source, restricted tendering. And restrictive tendering contracts all go through the PPA for approval before the companies go ahead, the entities go ahead to award. So it happened that this company went to PPA as part of the list. Whoever was in charge of the due diligence, because even before it goes to the board, there is due diligence that is done. And this due diligence is supervised by the CEO, that he set it up and he said it in the interview. So this due diligence team would now do the work and tell the board to approve or reject a particular application based on ABC.
Okay, is this the same meeting that he says in that interview that he recuses himself and makes the disclosure that he has an interest?
No, that's the board meeting. There's a technical committee meeting at the board.
Okay.
And the board meets to approve or reject the companies that are selected. Even they can make comments about the price and whatever, whether that contract should go through restricted tendering or whatever. So the board is there. So it's not like multimedia. We may have our board, but the editorial decisions, when we talk about maybe the very critical part of the work. So we will say, okay, this one, it falls within the journalistic standards. So management, you can pass it. That's how it works. So that team or that unit that does the due diligence is a very critical one.
And he's a part of that?
Yes, he set it up. So he supervises that before it goes to the board for the board. So they now tell the board, well, approve because of ABC. For this contract, there are still problems. So let's resolve them before. So if he recuses himself at the board level, the most critical part of the work is not done at the board level, because the board does not do due diligence. The board doesn't do that.
Interesting.
Well, I'll speak with my lawyer and we take it from there, but I think it's in order. We do these things to ensure that the system is sanitized. So if today people make reference to Richard Anani case and other issues Shraj investigated and made pronouncements. So if going forward, the coming in of Shraj would ensure that we're able to get certain specific pronouncements that would guide future employees or heads of not only the PPA but also procurement entities at the ministries, department and agencies, then I don't think I would want to withhold such assistance from such an important state institution.
I should have perhaps asked, have you had any phone calls yet? Any public states interested in investigating the matter that have contacted you so
yes,
far?
one of the first people who called was the special prosecutor.
Okay.
So I spoke with Martin Amidu last night, but it wasn't official. So we would perhaps do more things. The Auditor General has also reached out. His outfit is interested because the Auditor General also is able to carry out procurement audits. So they should be interested in knowing how this fairly new company, which was actually formed after ABAJ became the PPA CEO, is getting the attention of almost every state institution. We're talking about the Bank of Ghana, we're talking about Ghana Cocoa Board, we're talking about Ghana Water, we're talking about Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, we are talking about the Ministry of Special Development Initiative, Ministry of Education, Works and Housing, Roads and Highways. So I think somebody should be interested in finding out what is so special about a company that talks about talent discovery, yet is getting all the attention in very technical areas.